Hello. How about some sad songs today? How about this one by Matt Minglewood? East Coast performer guy. Young boy kneels on the ground by a dog whose day is done. 14 years just stood there like one. There comes a time when every old dog dies. The boy knows he never should let it take him by surprise. But he's leaving now. That's what the old dog's eyes did say. There are no words the boy can use to make him stay. And in his heart, he knows there ain't no use. Turn his head and I'll turn him loose. Mama stands in the doorway where I've lived for 16 years. Her mind is filled with memories, but her eyes are filled with tears. She don't find it one bit funny how time flies. She knows she never should let this thing take her by surprise. But I'm leaving home. She knows that's what I'm gonna say. She's searching hard to find the words that'll make me stay. And in her heart, she knows there ain't no use. I turn her head and she'll turn me loose. Say what you mean. Come on, try and speak. My stomach's trying to get out and my knees are getting weak. I never seen that look before in your eyes. I know I never should let this thing take me by surprise. But you're leaving me. I know that's what you're gonna say. You're searching hard to find the words that'll make you stay. And in my heart, I know there ain't no use. I just can't turn you loose. I know there ain't no use, but I just can't turn you loose. How about somewhere there's a mother crying for her boy. Boy is an airborne ranger with orders to deploy. Don't you cry, mama. He didn't want your sympathy. He's an airborne ranger, and that's the best that he can be. Somewhere there's a father. Oh, he's a crying for his son. Son is an airborne ranger with a war to be won. Don't you cry, daddy. He didn't want no sympathy. He's an airborne ranger, and that's the best that you can be. Somewhere there's a sister. Oh, she's a crying for her bro. And bro is an airborne ranger with the only way to go. Don't you cry, sis. He didn't want your sympathy. He's an airborne ranger, and that's the best that you can be. Somewhere there's a daughter. Oh, she's a crying for her dad. Dad was an airborne ranger, but now he's just a folded flag. Don't you cry, daughter. He didn't want your sympathy. He's an airborne ranger, and that's the best that you can be. He's an airborne ranger, and that's the best that he could be. We learned the hard way Love's not always easy. Nothing worth having ever came around that way. Oh, but we never ran when the rain started falling. That's why we're standing in the sunshine today. We just love and keep loving, dream and keep dreaming, walk and keep walking, though the road may get rough. Hold and keep holding on to each other, always believing, always work for us. Well, we never say never, and we never say die. Now, that's not to say that we never cried. Against all the odds, we made it somehow, and I can't imagine giving up now. We just love and keep loving, dream and keep dreaming, walk and keep walking, though the road may get rough. Hold and keep holding on to each other, always believing, always work for us. Always believing, always work for us. How about the story of Sandy Gray? In the melting snows of Ontario, where the wind'll make you shiver. In the month of May, in the Georgian Bay, near the mouth of the Musquash River, where the bears prowl and the coyotes howl, and you can hear the osprey scream. Back in '99, we're cutting pine and sending it down the stream, boys, sending it down the stream. Young Sandy Gray came from Go Home Bay, all the way from PEI, where the weather's rough and it makes you tough, and no man's afraid to die. Sandy came a smiling, 30,000 Islands was the place to claim his glory. Now Sandy's gone, but his name lives on. This is Sandy's story. This is Sandy's story. Young Sandy Gray lives on today in the echoes of a mighty yell. Listen close and you'll hear a ghost in this story that I tell, boys, the story that I tell. Now, Sandy Gray was the boss of men who tossed the trees on the shore. They'd come and go till they built a flow, 100,000 logs or more, and ride 'em down to Severn Sound and cut 'em up in the mills for timber. All the ships would haul spring, summer, and fall till the ice came in December, till the ice came in December. One Sabbath day, Big Sandy Gray came into camp with a peavy on his shoulder. With a thunder crack, he dropped his axe, and the room got a little bit colder. The room got a little bit colder. Said, come on, all of you, we got work to do. We're going to give her all we can give her. There's a jam of logs at the little jog near the mouth of the Musquash River, near the mouth of the Musquash River. With no time to pray on the Lord's day, they are hoping for God's forgiveness. But the jam was high in a troubled sky, and they set about their business. They poked with poles and they ran with the rows and tried to stay on their feet. Every trick they tried, one man cried, this log jam's got us beat, boys. This log jam's got us beat. But Sandy Gray was not afraid, and he let out a mighty yell. I'll be damned, we'll break this jam, or it's breakfast in hell, boys. Breakfast in hell. Now every one of the men did the work of 10, and Sandy scrambled up to the top. He was working like a dog, heaving 30-foot logs, and it looked like he'd never stop. They struggled on, these men so strong, till the jam began to sway. Then they dove for cover to the banks of the river, all except Sandy Gray. Now with thoughts of death, they held their breath as they saw their friend go down. They all knew in a second or two he'd be crushed or frozen or drowned. They saw him fall and they heard him call just once and then it was over. Young Sandy Gray gave his life that day near the mouth of the Musquash River, near the mouth of the Musquash River. But Sandy Gray was not afraid, and he let out a mighty yell. I'll be damned, we'll break this jam, or it's breakfast in hell, boys, breakfast in hell. But Sandy Gray was not afraid, and he let out a mighty yell. I'll be damned, we'll break this jam, or it's breakfast in hell, boys, breakfast in hell. How many times have you heard someone say, if I had his money, I would do things my way? But little they know that it's so hard to find one rich man in 10 with a satisfied mind. Once I was waiting in fortune and fame, everything that I dreamed of to get a start in life's game. Then suddenly it happened. I lost every dime, but I'm richer by far with a satisfied mind. Money can buy back your youth when you're old, or a friend when you're lonely, or a love that's grown cold. The wealthiest person is a pauper at times compared to the man with a satisfied mind. When my days are over and my time has run out, my friends and my loved ones I'll leave, there's no doubt. But one thing's for certain, when it comes my time, I'll leave this old world with a satisfied mind. Yes, one thing's for certain, when it comes my time, I'll leave this old world with a satisfied mind. How about little Johnny Horton? No. Oh, no. Let's do this. Love Needs a Heart by Jackson Brown. Maybe the hardest thing I've ever done was to walk away from you, leaving behind the life that we'd begun. I split myself in two, proud and alone, cold as a stone, rolling down that hill into the night. I could see the surprise and the hurt in your eyes from behind each flashing city light. Love needs a heart, and I need to find if love needs a heart like mine. Love won't come near me. She don't even hear me. Walks right past my vacancy sign. Love needs a heart, a trusting and blind. I wish that heart was mine. Proud and alone, cold as a stone. I'm afraid to believe the things I feel. I can cry with the best, I can laugh with the rest, but I'm never sure when it's real. Love needs a heart, and I need to find if love needs a heart like mine. How about Lonesome Whistle Blow? I was riding up at night, heading south from Caroline. I heard that lonesome whistle blow. Got in trouble, I had to roam, left my gal and left my home. I heard that lonesome whistle blow. And just a kid, acting smart, I went and broke my darling's heart. I guess I was too young to know. They took me off the Georgia main, locked me to a ball and chain. I heard that lonesome whistle blow. All alone, I bear the shame. I'm a number, not a name. I heard that lonesome whistle blow. All I do is sit and cry when that evening train goes by. I heard that lonesome whistle blow. I'll be locked here in this cell till my body's just a shell and my hair turns whiter than snow. I never see that gal of mine. Lord, I'm in Georgia doing time. I heard that lonesome whistle blow. I heard that lonesome whistle blow. How about Long Black Veil? 10 years ago, on a cold, dark night, someone was killed neath the town hall light. There were few at the scene, but they all agreed that the slayer who ran looked a lot like me. The judge said, son, what is your alibi? If you was somewhere else, then you won't have to die. I spoke not a word, though it meant my life, for I'd been in the arms of my best friend's wife. She walks these hills in a long black veil. She visits my grave when the night winds wail. Nobody knows, nobody sees, nobody knows but me. Well, the scaffold is high and eternity's near. She stood in the crowd and shed not a tear. But late at night, when that north wind blows in a long black veil, she cries over my bones. She walks these hills in a long black veil. She visits my grave when the night winds wail. Nobody knows, nobody sees, nobody knows but me. Nobody knows, nobody sees, nobody knows but me. How about Hung My Head? Early one morning, with time to kill, I borrowed Jeb's rifle and sat on a hill. I saw a lone rider crossing the plain. I drew a bead on him just to practice my aim. My brother's rifle went off in my hand. A shot rang out across the land. The horse he kept running. The rider was dead. I hung my head. I hung my head. I set off running to wake from the dream. My brother's rifle went into the sheen. I kept on running into the Southlands. That's where they found me, my head in my hands. The sheriff, he asked me why had I run, and then it came to me just what I had done. And all for no reason, just one piece of lead. I hung my head. I hung my head. Here in the courthouse, the whole town is there. I see the judge high up in his chair. Explain to the courtroom what went through your mind, and we'll ask the jury what verdict they find. I felt the power of death over life. I orphaned his children. I widowed his wife. I beg their forgiveness. I wish I was dead. I hung my head. I hung my head. I hung my head. Early one morning, with time to kill, I see the gallows up on a hill. Out in the distance, a trick of the brain. I see a lone rider crossing the plain, and he'd come to fetch me and see what they done, and we'll ride together to kingdom come. I pray for God's mercy, 'cause soon I'll be dead. I hung my head. I hung my head. I hung my head. If you love somebody enough, you follow them wherever they go. That's how I got to Memphis. That's how I got to Memphis. If you love somebody enough, you'll go where your heart wants to go. That's how I got to Memphis. That's how I got to Memphis. I know if you'd seen her, you'd tell me, 'cause you are my friend. I got to find her and find out the trouble she's in. And if you tell me she's not here, you can follow the trail of her tears. That's how I got to Memphis. That's how I got to Memphis. She'd get mad and she used to say that she'd come back to Memphis someday. That's how I got to Memphis. That's how I got to Memphis. I haven't eaten a bite or slept for 3 days and nights. That's how I got to Memphis. That's how I got to Memphis. I got to find her and tell her that I love her so. I'll never rest till I find out why she had to go. So thank you for your precious time. Forgive me if I start crying. That's how I got to Memphis. 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 Do wah shooby dooby. Do wah shooby dooby. How can you tell me how much you missed me? When the last time I saw you, you wouldn't even kiss me. That rich guy you've been seeing must have put you down. So welcome back, baby, to the poor side of town. To him you were nothing but a little plaything, not much more than an overnight fling. To me you were the greatest thing this boy had ever found. And it's hard to find nice things, baby, on the poor side of town. I don't blame you for trying. Lord, I'm trying to make it too. I got one little problem, baby. I just can't make it without you. So tell me, are you gonna stay now? Will you stand by me on the way now? With you by my side, this world can't keep us down. Together we can make it, baby, from the poor side of town. With you by my side, this world can't keep us down. Together we can make it, baby, from the poor side of town. Do wah, shooby dooby. Do wah, shooby dooby. About a story about a man and a woman and a motorcycle. Says Red Molly to James, well, that's a fine motorbike. A girl could feel special on any such like. Says James to Red Molly, my hat's off to you. It's a Vincent Black Lightning 1952. And I seen you on the corners and cafes, it seems. Red hair and black leather, my favorite color scheme. And he pulled her on behind, and down to Box Hill they'd ride. Said James to Red Motley, here's a ring for your right hand. But I tell you in earnest, I'm a dangerous man. For I fought with the law since I was 17. I robbed many a man to get my Vincent machine. Now I'm 21 years, I might make 22, and I don't mind dying, but for the love of you. But if fate should break my stride, then I'll give you my Vincent to ride. Come down, Red Molly, called Sergeant McQuaid, for they taken young James 80 for armed robbery. Shotgun blast hit his chest, left nothing inside. Oh, come down, Red Molly, to his dying bedside. When she came to the hospital, there wasn't much left. He was running out of road. He was running out of breath. But he smiled to see her cry and said, I'll give you my Vincent to ride. In my opinion, there's nothing in this world beats a 52 Vincent and a red-headed girl. Now Nortons and Indians and Greaveses won't do. Oh, they don't have a soul like a Vincent 52. Well, he reached for her hand and he slipped her the keys. He said, I got no further use for these. I see angels on aerials in leather and chrome, swooping down from heaven to carry me home. And he gave her one last kiss and died. And he gave her his Vincent to ride. He gave her his Vincent to ride. How about a little House of the Rising Sun? There is a house in New Orleans they call the Rising Sun, and it's been the ruin of many a poor boy. Dear God, I know I was one. My mother was a tailor. She sewed my new blue jeans. My father was a gambling man way down in New Orleans. Now the only thing a gambler needs is a suitcase and a trunk. And the only time he's satisfied is when he's on a drunk. Oh, mother, and tell your children not to do what I have done and spend your life in sin and misery in the house of the rising sun. I got one foot on the platform, another one on the train. I'm going back to New Orleans to wear that ball and chain. There is a house in New Orleans they call the Rising Sun, and it's been the ruin of many a poor boy. Dear God, I know I was one. Dear God, I know I was the one. I was standing by my window one cold and cloudy day when I saw that a horse come rolling for to take my mother away. Will the circle be unbroken by and by, long by and by? There's a better road a coming in the sky, Lord, in the sky. I said to that undertaker, please drive slow. For that lady you are carrying, Lord, I hate to see her go. Will the circle be unbroken? By and by, Lord, by and by, there's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. I followed close behind them, trying to hold up and be brave. But I could not face my sorrow when they laid her in her grave. Will the circle be unbroken? By and by, long by and by, there's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. How about Foolish Pride? How about Folsom Prison Blues? I hear the train a comin', it's rolling down the bend, and I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. I'm stuck in Folsom prison, and time keeps dragging on, but that train keeps a rolling on down to San Antone. When I was just a baby, my mama told me, son, always be a good boy, don't ever play with guns. But I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. When I hear that whistle blowing, I hang my head and cry. I bet there's rich folks eating in them fancy dining cars. They're probably drinking coffee and smoking big cigars. Well, I know I had it coming. I know I can be free. But those people keep a moving, and that's what tortures me. Well, if they free me from this prison, if the railroad train was mine, I bet I'd move it on a little farther down the line, far from Folsom prison. That's where I want to stay. And I let that lonesome whistle blow my blues away. I let that lonesome whistle blow my blues away. How about Foolish Pride by Travis Tritt? She stayed up all night and cried into her pillow and fought off the urge to just break down and call. Last night to find the fault seemed so darn easy. But now who's to blame don't matter much at all. She thinks if she calls him, it just shows weakness. So the hurt goes on with every tear she's cried. Ain't it sad to see a good love fall to pieces? Chalk another heartbreak up to foolish pride. Turn out the lights, the competition's over. The stubborn souls are the losers here tonight. And while the bridges burn, another hard lesson's learned. As in the ashes, passion slowly dies. And this romance goes down to foolish pride. He relives every word they spoke in anger. He walks the floor and punches out the wall. To apologize to her would be so simple. But instead he cries, I'll be damned if I'll crawl. Or if he loses her, he's lost his best friend. And more than just a lover can provide. So he wrestles with emotions that defeat him. Chalk another love lost up to foolish pride. Turn out the lights, the competition's over. The stubborn souls are the losers here tonight. And while the bridges burn, another hard lesson's learned. As in the ashes, passion slowly dies. And this romance goes down to foolish pride. Chalk another love lost up to foolish pride. Okay, let's focus on a little bit of a healing by Paul Thorne. Get you a healing from the bottom of your heart. Get you a healing, and it's the only place to start. Forgive all of those who have ever brought you harm. Get you a healing, and we're loving from now on. Get you a healing for your body and your soul. Get you a healing, and it's good for young, it's good for old. Fix all the problems in the people that you know. Get you a healing, and then let your loving show. Get you a healing for your body and your soul. Get you a healing, and it's the only way to go. Forgive all of those who have ever done you harm. Get you a healing, and with loving from now on. Get you a healing by learning how to share. Get you a healing by showing that you care. Show them that you love them by really being there. Get you a healing, and it's like breathing fresh air. Get you a healing for your body and your soul. Get you a healing, and it's good for young, it's good for old. Fix all the problems with the people that you know. Get you a healing, and then let your loving show. And get you a healing, and then let your loving show. And get you a healing, and let your loving show. How about a Johnny Cash? Get a little rhythm. Hey, get a rhythm when you get the blues. Come on, get a rhythm when you get the blues. Get a rock and roll feeling in your bones, but taps on your toes, and get going, get a rhythm when you get the blues. Little shoeshine boy never gets slowed down, but he got the dirtiest job in town, bending low on the people's feet on a windy corner of a dirty street. Well, I asked him when he shined my shoes how to keep from getting the blues. He grinned as he raised his little head, popped the shoe shine rag, and then he said, get a rhythm when you get the blues. Come on, get a rhythm when you get the blues. A jump, a rhythm makes you feel so fine. It'll shake all the troubles from your word, man. Get a rhythm when you get the blues. Get a rhythm when you get the blues. Come on, get a rhythm when you get the blues. Get a rock and roll feeling in your bones, put taps on your toes, and get going, get a rhythm when you get the blues. Well, I sat down listening to the shoe shine ball, and I thought I was going to jump with joy. Slapped on the shoe polish left and right, took a shoe shine rag, and he held it tight. He stopped once to wipe the sweat away. I said, you're a mighty little boy to be working that way. He said, I like it, with a big wide grin, kept a pop, and then he said again, get a rhythm when you get the blues. Come on, get a rhythm when you get the blues. A jumping rhythm makes you feel so fine. It'll shake all the troubles from your word mind. Get a rhythm when you get the blues. Get a rhythm when you get the blues. Come on, get a rhythm when you get the blues. It only costs a dime, just a nickel a shoe. Does $1 million worth of good for you. Get a rhythm when you get the blues. How about Give Me 3 Steps by Leonard Skinner. I was cutting the rug down at a place called Juggies with a girl named Melinda Lou. When in walked a man with a gun in his hand. He was looking for you know who. He said, hey there, fella with the hair colored yellow. What you trying to prove? Cause that's what my woman there, not my man who cares. That might be all for you. I said, excuse me. I was scared and fearing for my life. I was shaking like a leaf on a tree. Cause he was lean and mean and big and bad. Lord, pointing that gun at me. I said, wait a minute, mister. I didn't even kiss her. Don't want no trouble with you. And I know you don't owe me, but I sure wish you'd let me ask one favor from you. Won't you give me 3 steps? Give me 3 steps, mister. Give me 3 steps towards the door. And give me 3 steps. Give me 3 steps, mister. You never see me no more. For sure. Well, the crowd cleared away, and I began to pray, and the water fell on the floor. And I'm telling you, son, well, it ain't no fun staring right down a 44. Well, he turned and screamed at Linda Lou. That's the break I was waiting for. Well, you could have heard me screaming a mile away. I was headed out towards the door. Give me 3 steps, mister. Give me 3 steps towards the door. And give me 3 steps, mister. You'll never see me no more. You'll never see me no more. There's a song that was my father's favorite song. And my sister, Lorna, and my daughter, Caitlin, sang it at his funeral. Each day I'll do a golden deed by helping those who are in need. My life on earth is but a span. Each day I'll do the best I can. Life's evening sun is sinking low. A few more days and I must go to meet the deeds that I have done, where there will be no setting sun. The only life that will endure is one that's kind and good and pure. And so for God I take my stand. Each day I'll lend a helping hand. Life's evening sun is sinking low. A few more days and I must go to meet the deeds that I have done, where there will be no setting sun. Well, going down life's weary road, I'll try to lift some traveler's load. I'll turn the night into day, make flowers bloom along the way. Life's evening sun is sinking low. A few more days and I must go to meet the deeds that I have done, where there will be no setting sun, where there will be no setting sun. I'll journey on with rapid speed and help someone in time of need. I'll help the sick and poor and weak, and words of kindness to them I'll speak. Life's evening sun is sinking low. A few more days and I must go to meet the deeds that I have done, where there will be no setting sun. All right, how about, let's do this. Let's do this. What did you think I would do at this moment when you're standing before me with tears in your eyes, trying to tell me that you have found you another and you just don't love me no more? What did you think I would say at this moment when I'm faced with the knowledge that you just don't love me? Do you think I would cuss you or say things to hurt you? 'Cause you just don't love me no more. Did you think I could hate you or raise my hands to you? Now come on, you know me too well. How could I hurt you when, darling, I love you? And you know I'd never hurt you. No, no. What do you think I would give at this moment if you'd stay? I'd subtract 20 years from my life. I'd fall down on my knees, kiss the ground that you walk on, baby. If I could just hold you, if I could just hold you, if I could just hold you again. Baby, I need your. Oh, let's do At Last by Etta James. At last, my love has come along. My lonely days are over, and life is like a song. At last, the skies above are blue. My heart was wrapped up in clover the night I looked at you. I found a dream that I could speak to, a dream that I can call my own. I found a thrill to press my cheek to, a thrill like I have never known. Oh, you smiled, and then the spell was cast. For here we are in heaven, for you are mine at last. Mhm. Big Iron Town, a story of frontier justice. In the town of Agua Fria rode a stranger one fine day. Hardly spoke to folks around him, didn't have too much to say. No one dared to ask his business, no one dared to make a slip, for the stranger there among him had a big iron on his hip, big iron on his hip. It was early in the morning when he rode into the town. He came riding from the south side, slowly looking all around. He's an outlaw, loose and running, came the whisper from each lip, and he's here to do some business with the big iron on his hip, big iron on his hip. In this town there lived an outlaw by the name of Texas Red. Many men had tried to take him, and those many men were dead. He was vicious and a killer, though a youth of 24, and the notches on his pistol numbered 1 and 19 more. 1 and 19 more. Now the stranger started talking, made it plain to folks around. Was an Arizona Ranger, wouldn't be too long in town. He came here to take an outlaw back alive or maybe dead. And he said it didn't matter. He was after Texas Red. After Texas Red. Wasn't long before the story was relayed to Texas Red. But the outlaw didn't worry. Men that tried before were dead. 20 men had tried to take him. 20 men had made a slip. 21 would be the ranger with the big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip. The morning passed so quickly it was time for them to meet. It was 20 past 11 when they walked out in the street. Folks were watching from their windows. Everybody held their breath, for they knew this handsome ranger was about to meet his death. About to meet his death. There was 40 feet between them when they stopped to make their play. And the swiftness of the ranger is still talked about today. Texas Red had not cleared leather for a bullet fairly ripped, and the ranger's aim was deadly with the big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip. It was over in a moment, and the folks had gathered round. There before them lay the body of the outlaw on the ground. Oh, he might have went on living, but he made one fatal slip when he tried to match the ranger with the big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip. Big iron, when he tried to match the ranger with the big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip. Okay. Have a good evening.